in the kitchen with the Barlow Queen. If you watched the butter making tutorial that we stumbled through earlier, I mentioned that I was going to attempt to make bread. So I had a sour cream bread recipe and I was filming it. Everything was fine until it wasn't. So I chose to not show you the video because it was a disaster, but it did work out. So let me tell you how to make it and what I did wrong, and then I'm going to show you the outcome. So I have my recipe, and I'm hoping it shows up to you correctly. And if it doesn't, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So basically, this was supposed to be the easiest recipe ever. Now, y'all know I have memory issues, so I did the best I could. But this is the recipe. So you have 3/4 cups of sour cream, and it says to stir the sour cream really well to get everything incorporated, like all that extra fluid that's on the top, to get the bubbles out, whatever, smooth, creamy. That's just what they want you to do. So you do that to your sour cream and then measure out your 3/4 cup. And then you have 3/4 cups of milk, and I just nuked mine in the microwave to get it warm. You have 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and I melted mine. 3½ cups of bread flour, 1½ tablespoons of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of salt, and 1½ teaspoons of instant yeast. That's all the ingredients. So what it tells you to do is to get your stand mixer, and you layer these ingredients in your mixing bowl. So you're going to do the wet ingredients first. So you're going to put in your 3/4 cups of sour cream, your 3/4 cups of warm milk, and your 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. So I'll put that in first. And then in a bowl, I mix together the 3½ cups of bread flour, 1½ tablespoons of white sugar, and 1½ teaspoons of salt. So I dumped that in on top of the wet because the last ingredient is the yeast. And according to the directions, they say they do not want your yeast to touch the liquid until it's ready for the mixer to spin with the dough hook. So I made a little well at the top of the flour mixture and dumped in the yeast there. So, I mean, everybody knows dough hook. So you put your dough hook in, and this particular person said to cook it on low, which they're saying is number 2 on the mixer. So I put it on number 2, let it go. It says let it go 7 to 10 minutes. I let mine go about maybe 5 or 6 because everything in the bowl had turned into dough and was hanging on the hook, and the hook was like, you know, kneading it or whatever, and it wasn't sticky or anything. So that's what you look for. You want your dough to be where when you touch it, it's pliable and it's kind of like Play-Doh, and you can touch it like this and it's not sticky to your hand. If it is sticky, you might need to add a little bit more of your cake flour and let it mix. But mine was great consistency, so I didn't want to keep mixing it. I just went ahead and dumped it out. This is where I messed up. So I should have taken it from my mixing bowl to a large greased bowl, dumped my dough in there, sprinkled it with some more oil, and then covered it with either saran wrap or, my mind left me, a towel. So, that's what we should have done. But I, in my wonderful fog brain, got out my cutting board, put my flour on it, and went ahead and pressed my dough out into the rectangle. And it says that you take, let me see. So you're going to take your 9 by 5, let's see, can you see? Yeah, your 9x5 pan, and you want your dough to be, you know, the length of your pan. So once you roll it out thin with your hands, you just push it out, make it a rectangle about 1 inch thick. Then you start at the bottom and you roll it tight to the top. And then you pinch the seams on the bottom. So I was not supposed to do that, which I did. Then I dumped it in my pan, and then I covered it with my towel and set my timer for 60 to 90 minutes. And then I came back, and then I had my doubled loaf, but I didn't do it in the pan, in the bowl. So I was supposed to put it in the bowl covered with saran wrap until it doubled 60 to 90 minutes, and then taken it out and done that. Put the flour on the cutting board, roll it up, put it in the pan. So it is what it is. So I took it out of the pan when I realized what I had done, put it back on the cutting board with some more flour. I flattened it all the way back out again and re-rolled it and put it in my pan. Then it says to let it rise another 60 to 90 minutes. So when I got to 60 minutes and I had 30 minutes left, I went ahead and started preheating my oven to 350. So with it in my pan and poofed at the end of the 90 minutes, obviously my oven was already done. So I took the towel off, put it in the oven, and 350, and it says 32 to 37 minutes. So I checked mine at 35 minutes, and this is what it looks like. Let's see. Y'all know I'm learning as I go. So this is my bread. To me, it looks great. It says let it cool for about 10 minutes and you can take it out. So this is some of the leftover butter that didn't fit in my butter bell from this morning. So I figured I'm just going to take some of my fresh, wonderful, creamy, see how wonderful and creamy that is, butter, and spread over the top of this. And then I'm going to flip it out and let it cool on this rack. But I was going to show y'all the video of me bombing, because I'm like, you know, everybody is not going to get it perfect every time, especially when we're learning. But Harold said it was a hot mess, and it was a hot mess. So I was like, oh, just forget it. But I think it's going to be really good. It says to let it cool completely for like an hour to 2 hours before you cut it. Now, it's a little after 7 here. So that means I'm going to have to wait till like at least 8:30 or so before I can cut this bread. But I'm in PO after midnight, so I'll be eating a piece of bread before I go to bed tonight, because if not, I'm going to be starving tomorrow. But this is what it looks like. I'm fixing to flip it out and put it on this cooling rack as soon as I get this little corner. Yeah. Now all I did was buttered this pan instead of greased. I just buttered. So we're going to see how easy it comes out. Woo, it turned right out. Let me see if I can tilt you. There we go. So let me flip it back over. So this right here you can see is the seam where I pinched it together. But that is the loaf of bread. And I will tell you, it smells really good. I've never heard of a sour cream loaf of bread before. So when I can slice it, I'll bring you back up. Let me see. Yeah, I'll bring you back up when I can slice it and taste it and let y'all know if it's worth it or not. If not, I'm just going to try to make like a white Amish bread. I have everything to do sourdough bread, but doing the feedings and the flour to the water and feed it every day and put it in this temperature, in my house, I'm freezing all the time. So I'm thinking it's not going to be warm enough for that stuff to rise and to double and to do all that. So this is my way of making bread that I think will work for us. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'll come back in an hour and a half, slice it, put some of my homemade butter on it, and we're going to see how it is. All right, thanks. I'll be back. Hello, everybody. You are back with the Barlow Queen. So I am fixing to cut the bread. So I'm going to tilt you so you can see. I, for one, think it looks great and it smells great. Soft on the top. So that's the heel. I'll cut you. I'm not a heel person. I don't want to cut these too thick though, because I don't want to waste it. Let's see. Can you see how squishy and soft it is? It is very soft. I'm really excited. I'm going to spread a little bit of butter. Let me see if I can tilt you back up. There we go. I'm going to put some of my homemade butter that I made earlier. If you didn't see that video, go back and watch it. The only thing I did different, or that I wished I'd have done different, I guess, is added a little bit more salt. But since that's the first time I was making it, I didn't want to over salt. So this is my bread. See how easy it tore? It just falls apart.
I wouldn't know.
That's actually really good. This would make great sandwich bread. It's very soft. It's cooked perfect. The crust is just a little bit not crispy, but a little bit harder than the center. With that butter on it, oh Lord, that's some good stuff. So you have got to make it. I promise you, that's really good. I'm going to let Harold try it in just a minute. But I'll pick it up. See how squishy that is? Yeah. So, even though I messed up, even though I spread it out and rolled it when it should have been doubling, and then I just let it double in a roll and then did spread it out and double it again, it turned out perfect. So don't ever throw it away. You just got to try it. But I couldn't have asked for anything better. I'm super excited. This is going to be my go-to recipe from now on. I really hope you try it. And if you do, leave me a comment and let me know. But it's fabulous. You're going to love it. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.